Have you ever felt like your body is trying to tell you something, but you're not quite sure what it is? Perhaps it's a strange sensation, a subtle change you've brushed off, or a sign that makes you wonder if everything is still okay. As we enter our golden years, our body becomes a loyal companion, constantly sending signals to warn and guide us. Some of these signals are gentle reminders to take better care of ourselves, but others carry a deeper meaning. They may be signs that our time is growing shorter. Today, we're going to explore a sensitive but profoundly important topic: the signals your body sends when it's preparing for its final journey. This isn't a story about fear or loss, but about understanding, compassion, and how we can use this knowledge to live more fully and love more deeply. You'll be guided through 7 specific signs, signals that doctors and experts often notice in those nearing the end of life. These signs aren't meant to alarm you, but to help you and your loved ones prepare, making every remaining moment more meaningful than ever. Pause for a moment and reflect. Have you ever noticed something unusual in yourself or a loved one? A change that left you wondering? It might be a clue your body is trying to share with you. Don't worry, we'll walk through each sign clearly and gently together. By the end of this video, you'll not only know what these signs are, but also how to face them with calm, strength, and love. Let's embark on this journey together. And if you find this content valuable, get ready to leave a comment to share your thoughts. Now let's dive into the first sign, a signal your body might be sending that you haven't considered before. The first sign we need to pay attention to is sudden and unexplained weight loss. Picture this. One day you notice your clothes feel loose and baggy, or a loved one looks noticeably thinner, even though they haven't been trying to lose weight. This isn't the usual gradual change we might expect with aging, like shedding a few pounds from eating less or moving more. Instead, it's a rapid, unusual weight loss, as if your body is melting away without any clear explanation. So why does this happen? As the body nears its final stages, the digestive system may start to slow down. Cells no longer absorb nutrients as efficiently as they once did. Sometimes this is a sign of a more serious issue, such as cancer, organ failure, or a condition that prevents the body from processing food normally. For example, John, an 82-year-old man, noticed he lost nearly 20 pounds in a few months without changing his diet. At first, his family thought he was just being pickier with food, but it turned out to be a sign that his body was struggling to maintain its strength. After a visit to the doctor, they discovered he had liver failure, and this sign helped his family prepare better for the days ahead. Sudden weight loss often comes with another clue: a loss of appetite. Foods that once brought joy, like a weekend barbecue or homemade cookies, suddenly seem less appealing. You might feel full after just a few bites, or food might taste different. This isn't about willpower or being picky. It's your body's way of conserving energy, focusing on the most essential functions to keep going. For loved ones, watching someone they care about grow thinner can be a heartbreaking experience. You might feel compelled to urge them to eat more, preparing their favorite dishes, but it's crucial to understand that this is a natural part of the body's journey. So what should you do if you notice this sign? Don't try to force large meals, as this can cause discomfort or even pain. Instead, focus on comfort: a little warm soup, a few spoonfuls of soft porridge, or even moistening their lips with ice chips can bring far more ease. What matters most is spending time with them, sharing stories and smiles, rather than worrying about meals that no longer suit their needs. If you've seen this sign in yourself or a loved one, drop the number 1 in the comments to let us know you're with us. And if you want to uncover more signs to be better prepared, keep watching and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated with helpful content. The second sign to watch for is profound, unrelenting fatigue. This isn't the kind of tiredness that a good night's sleep or a restful day can wash away. Instead, it feels like an invisible wall, making even the simplest tasks, like walking from the living room to the kitchen or chatting with your grandkids, feel as heavy as climbing a steep mountain. Have you ever felt your energy completely drained, even when you haven't done anything strenuous? Or perhaps you've noticed a loved one resting more, looking exhausted even after sitting quietly watching TV. This fatigue stems from how the body functions in its final stages. As the heart pumps blood less efficiently or the lungs struggle to deliver enough oxygen, the body works harder to maintain basic functions. Blood carries fewer nutrients, and energy is prioritized for vital organs like the heart and brain, leaving little for other activities. Think of Susan, a 76-year-old woman who loved gardening. Her family noticed she started napping more during the day, sometimes waking for only a few minutes before slipping back into sleep. At first, they thought she just needed more rest, but it was actually her body signaling that it was slowing down. This fatigue doesn't just affect the body, it impacts the mind as well. You might notice a loved one responding more slowly, sometimes seeming confused or struggling to focus during conversations. They may start a story and trail off or prefer silence over talking as they once did. This can make family members feel like their loved one is pulling away. But in truth, this isn't a deliberate withdrawal. Their body is prioritizing what's most essential to keep going. For caregivers, this can be especially challenging as you long to see your loved one active and engaged as before. But remember, they aren't choosing this. It's how their body is responding. How can you help? Respect their need for rest, a comfortable chair, a quiet room, or simply holding their hand in silence can offer more comfort than you might realize. Don't push them to engage in activities beyond their strength, and instead cherish the small moments. A smile, a kind word. The third sign is unusual changes in breathing, a signal you might notice just by sitting beside a loved one. Have you ever heard a loved one gasp for air while sitting still, or noticed long, unsettling pauses between their breaths? This is one of the most noticeable and often worrisome signs, because breathing is the rhythm of life, and when it shifts, it's impossible to ignore. These changes can take many forms. It might be shortness of breath even without movement, making it hard to finish a sentence. Or you might hear strange sounds like wheezing or a rattling noise, what doctors call the death rattle. This happens when the throat muscles weaken and can no longer clear fluid from the airways. Picture Robert, an 80-year-old former teacher who loved storytelling. His family noticed he started breathing unevenly, sometimes pausing for several seconds before taking a deep breath. At first, they feared he was in pain, but the doctor explained it was a natural part of his body slowing down. The cause lies in the respiratory system. As the lungs become less efficient, blood oxygen levels drop, and carbon dioxide builds up, making it harder for the body to maintain balance. At the same time, circulation shifts. Blood prioritizes core organs, leading to colder hands and feet, or a bluish tint to lips and fingertips. These signs can spark panic in loved ones, but it's vital to understand that they aren't always painful. For the person experiencing them, they might feel a heaviness in their chest or a sense of not getting enough air, but it's often not the agony we imagine. What can you do? Focus on comfort, a pillow to prop up their head, a well-ventilated room, or a gentle touch can provide a sense of safety. Your soothing voice, a soft lullaby, or a calm presence can ease their fears. Sometimes these changes in breathing are likened to the body preparing for a new journey, a gentle transition to a more peaceful state. The fourth sign is withdrawing from the world around them, a change that can feel like you're losing a loved one even while they're still here. Have you ever noticed a loved one who used to love chatting, laughing, or joining family gatherings suddenly become quieter? They might prefer staying alone in their room, declining visits, or responding with brief words instead of the long stories they once shared. This isn't a sign of distance or lack of care, but rather the body and mind seeking peace in their final stage. Imagine Anna, an 85-year-old woman who was once the heart of every family gathering. She loved telling stories, playing cards with her grandkids, and keeping everyone entertained. But then her family noticed she started preferring to sit alone, gazing out the window or napping more often. Hobbies like watching family movies or listening to music suddenly felt overwhelming for her. At first, her children thought she was sad or upset, but the truth was her body was conserving energy, focusing on stillness and rest. Why does this happen? As the body nears the end of life, it begins to conserve energy, prioritizing the most essential functions. The mind also turns inward, as if preparing for a new journey. This can make loved ones feel rejected, but it's important to remember this isn't a conscious choice. They aren't pulling away from you out of a lack of love. Their body craves peace over external stimulation. You might notice them staring into space or responding less during conversations. This signals their mind is shifting, seeking solace in quiet. How can you support them during this time? Don't try to pull them back into activities they once loved. Instead, be present in the way they need. A gentle hand to hold, a smile, or simply sitting beside them in silence can offer more comfort than you might imagine. Think of the small moments, like watching a sunset together or listening to a soft melody, instead of trying to fill the space with words. If you've seen a loved one grow quieter or wondered if you're experiencing this yourself, drop the number 4 in the comments to let us know you're with us. Keep watching, as the next sign will reveal another change you might notice during daily meals. The fifth sign to watch for is a significant decrease in appetite, a change that can leave families feeling uneasy. Have you ever noticed a loved one suddenly lose interest in meals they once cherished? Perhaps they only take a few sips of soup, turn away from a dessert they used to eagerly await, or even refuse a single sip of water. This isn't about being picky or lacking willpower. It's a clear signal that the body is entering a new phase where nourishment is no longer a priority. As the body nears the end of life, the digestive system begins to slow down, almost entering a state of rest. Organs no longer require as many calories to function, and the body redirects its energy to the most essential tasks, like keeping the heart beating and the lungs working. This leads to a natural loss of hunger and thirst, a phenomenon that often confuses families. Consider Thomas, a 79-year-old man known for his love of cooking for his family. Every Sunday, he would prepare a small feast with his signature beef stew. But then his family noticed he only ate a few bites before pushing his plate away, even skipping the fruit juice he once loved. At first, his daughter tried to coax him to eat more, believing he needed nutrition to regain strength. But the doctor explained that this was the body's way of preparing for its final stage, and forcing food could make him more uncomfortable. This change doesn't stop at refusing food. Sometimes the person's mouth becomes dry, and swallowing can feel difficult or even painful. This makes large meals a burden rather than a source of joy. For families, watching a loved one turn away from food can stir feelings of helplessness or guilt. You might think you're not doing enough, that preparing their favorite dish will entice them to eat more. But it's crucial to understand that this isn't about taste or the quality of your care. Their body is signaling that it no longer needs much food, and pushing them can cause unnecessary discomfort. So, what can you do? Instead of urging them to eat, focus on small gestures that bring comfort. A spoonful of cool ice cream, a few drops of fruit juice, or simply moistening their lips with ice chips can make them feel more at ease. Offer soft, easy-to-swallow foods like thin porridge or warm soup, but don't pressure them to finish. What matters more is spending time with them, sharing meaningful moments, a funny story, a fond memory, or just your quiet presence. The sixth sign is noticeable changes in skin and circulation, a signal you might observe just by looking at or touching a loved one. Have you ever noticed a loved one's skin becoming pale, developing patches of blue or purple, or feeling cold to the touch? These aren't just surface-level changes. They're the body's way of telling a story about its inner journey as it prepares for its final stage. These changes occur as the circulatory system slows down. Blood no longer flows evenly to the extremities like hands, feet, knees, or elbows, instead prioritizing vital organs such as the heart and brain. As a result, the skin may develop mottled patches, sometimes resembling a marble-like pattern, especially in areas farthest from the heart. The skin can also become thinner and more fragile, bruising easily with the lightest touch, and small wounds may take longer to heal, if they heal at all. Think of Margaret, an 83-year-old woman who once took pride in her smooth skin. Her family noticed her hands growing cold and purple patches appearing on her arms. At first, they worried she was too cold or injured, but the doctor explained this was a sign her body was focusing energy on its most critical functions. These changes aren't merely cosmetic. They indicate that the body is no longer prioritizing repair or renewal, instead conserving energy for what matters most. For loved ones, seeing these changes in someone they care about can be heartbreaking. You might feel uneasy touching their cold hands or seeing bruises appear without explanation. But it's essential to recognize that these changes are a natural part of the end-of-life journey and don't necessarily cause pain for the person experiencing them. What can you do to help? Focus on providing warmth and comfort. A soft blanket, a pair of cozy socks, or a gentle hug can help your loved one feel safe and cared for. If they feel cold, ensure the room is warm but not stifling. More importantly, see these changes as part of the story the body is telling, a story of resilience and preparation for a new journey. The seventh sign, perhaps the most profound, is decreased awareness and deeper withdrawal. Have you ever heard a loved one talk about seeing family members who have passed away or describe a journey you can't see? Or maybe you've noticed them growing quieter, less responsive, as if they're drifting into a world of their own. This is a powerful sign that the body and mind are preparing for the final stage, a journey beyond what we can fully understand. This withdrawal often shows up as reduced communication. Conversations that were once lively may dwindle to short replies or even complete silence. They might sleep more, slip into periods of drowsiness, or seem unaware of you, even if you're someone they deeply love. Consider Henry, an 87-year-old amateur poet. In his final weeks, he began talking about seeing his mother, who had passed away years ago, and described a peaceful scene he felt he was moving toward. At first, his son thought he was dreaming, but these words were part of a natural process as his mind began turning inward. The cause of this shift is the body's declining energy. As it focuses on minimal functions, the mind starts to disconnect from the outside world, as if preparing for a different journey. Sometimes the person may speak of unusual images or experiences, like light, departed loved ones, or a sense of calm. These moments can be confusing or emotional for families, but they often bring comfort to the person experiencing them. In the final days, recognition may fade entirely. They might not call your name or respond to your voice. This doesn't mean they no longer love you. Their body and mind are focusing on a deeper journey. How can you support them in these moments? Be present without expecting a response. A gentle hand to hold, a whispered word of love, or simply sitting by their side in silence can be the greatest gift you can offer. Don't fear their talk of unusual things. It may be how their soul finds peace. Think of these moments as part of their natural journey, where they're preparing to depart in comfort and love. If you've seen a loved one seem to drift into another world, share by leaving the number 7 in the comments. Now let's reflect on what all these signs mean together. As we look back at the 7 signs our bodies send, from unusual weight loss and profound fatigue to changes in breathing, withdrawal, and more, we realize these aren't signals of fear, but gentle whispers from the body, reminding us of the value of time and love. Each sign is an opportunity to deepen our understanding of the end-of-life journey, preparing not only for ourselves, but also for those we hold dear. Knowing these signs isn't about worry, it's about gaining clarity, compassion, and a deeper appreciation for every moment we have left. Take a moment to reflect. Which of these signs struck you the most today? Is there something you recognize from your own experiences or those of a loved one? Perhaps it's the image of a loved one growing thinner before your eyes, or moments when they seem to gaze into a distant place. These signs are more than just signals from the body. They're invitations to live more fully, love more deeply, and be fully present in the precious moments we share. Let them remind you that every day is a gift, and every hand held is a way to say, "I love you" without words. We'd love to hear your story. Drop a comment below and share the lesson or feeling this video sparked for you. Your story might inspire someone else who needs it. And if you have ideas for how we can improve, please let us know. A small suggestion from you could make our next videos even more meaningful. If you found this content helpful, give it a like, share it with those you care about, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to keep getting guidance to live healthier, more meaningfully, and with love. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we can't wait to see you in the next video.